Flosstube friends, it's Linda from Richter Stitcher. It's October the 4th, I think. Wednesday. Yeah, I guess I got a calendar right in front of me. I could tell you what it is. Yeah, October 4th. I haven't switched my calendar over there in a few weeks because it's been a little busy. I think the last date up there says September the 10th. So I get kind of off. When I don't come in here all the time and we're off and about, I just switch it. So today is October 4th. I guess it's almost been 4 weeks since I recorded last time. And Flosstube number, oh gee, I can't even remember. Is it 17? No, last time was 18, so this is 19. So it's good to have a calendar in front of you. It does help, and that's kind of how I'm going to do this today, I think. Same as last time, just run through things that's happened since my last Flosstube. Looking in front of me, there's a little bit to share. Last time was Sampler September, and I think I shared my first week and how I was doing. It kind of went downhill from there because if you've watched Katie, she mentions how you go on these trails, rabbit holes, and I kind of in the same way. I see something and I just kind of veer off, but I tried to stick to it, and I'll kind of go over a little bit of what I did focus on for Sampler September, and then I'll bring in the things that kind of took over. A little bit of haul as well, and so let's just get started again. Linda from Richter Stitcher, and we are on Flosstube 19. Just do want to say a few thank yous. It was Floss Blossom Cousins in their last video that I watched. It's been a couple weeks ago, but they shouted me out. I appreciate that so much. It's just fun to see that and know the people that you follow there, and then there's just so many that I think about during the month that kind of follow, and they kind of help me go on those rabbit trails that I spoke about. Again, it was the 8th, I think, around when I posted my last Flosstube, so we'll kind of go from there. It looks like I had a good 5 days that I didn't do a whole lot of crafting. Family was over. I got to see my grandbaby, and it's been a few weeks since I've seen her, so I am missing Briar and my daughter, of course. But during that time, a few things happened. I mentioned Fiberfest that I was going to be attending, and I had a great time. Nancy, and I've gotten to know through my crafting adventures. Originally, we found each other through Facebook, but she got me started going to my weekly Wednesdays at the craft store, and I see her more often than I see the other ladies. This last month, anyway, we did a few things. Went to McKinney again and did some knitting, and then of course we spent the day at Fiberfest, which was overwhelming. And I will put in some pictures probably at the end, things that we've seen, or I might have made a video on. It's been, like I said, three and a half weeks. So if I made a video, I will slip that in as well. You'll get to see all the things that were overwhelming, but very fun to see. Lots of, I did buy a little bit for the craft room, as well as some yarn and wool. I found a piece of wool that I want to try to attempt wool applique. That is kind of an area where I've just been itching to see what I can do. It kind of reminds me when I was in school as a kid, when you would do the felt shapes and things. So the stitching is kind of what concerns me, because I'm not very good at hand stitching, but I am trying to learn with the doll quilt and things that I'm doing. I didn't bring that in here, but I am getting the pieces together a little at a time. Like I said before, I have till January to finish that, so hopefully we'll get a lot of focus in the next few months to get that piece together for my grandbaby. Kind of what I'm looking forward to, and I'll share some plans as well of the things that I want to kind of try not to go on those rabbit holes. But so, like I said, Fiberfest happened around the 15th of last month in September. Spent the day there, and then I can share. Well, I'll do. It's going to be mixed, of course, as usual, between my sewing and my crochet, a little bit of knitting, and a little bit of cross stitch. So it's all going to be kind of in the Flosstube, but whether it comes now or later, it's kind of the way I work. But I did do all the rows sewn together for the quilt that Katie and Shelly and Tiger Lily. I like the way Katie put it. It's a start along because some people don't keep up, and I got started late, so I'm still working on it. But I got all the 7 rows sewn together in their strips. See, I can insert some pictures as well. And I think I'm on the 3rd row of these coming together, 3rd or 4th. So these are the ones that are left. So there's 7 rows and there's 4 here. So put 3 rows together, and that's this next piece that I'll share. And it's the Rustic Gatherings fabric that I used from Primitive Gatherings. Careful, because some of the pins are still in here that keep the rows straight. Just got it draped over a table here. But these are the first 3 rows. I have the next 4 to put together, and I will have a flimsy. But I am so, I guess, proud of this. It's my first full-size bed quilt that I'm attempting. Not sure if I'll put a border around the whole thing. And then, of course, the quilting is something else to figure out. But besides the baby quilt that I've made, this is really the first full size that I've done, and I'm just so happy with it. And then labeling it, I want to figure all that out. But that was something else that I worked on this past month. It kept coming out, like it was last week. Hubby wanted me in the living room, and I really wanted to work on this. So what I did is I took my featherweight into the living room and my small travel iron, and had it all sitting on the coffee table, actually. And I put a stool in front of the coffee table just so that I could get these 3 rows put together. So I would like to finish this before Thanksgiving, so that's the goal. At least to have the backing sandwiched, probably not quilted or binded, but put together that much so that I can at least display it for this season. So that's a work in progress as well. Looks like I worked on another sampler September that was on my calendar. So out of I think when I put this together, I had like 12 things that I wanted to work on in the month of September. And I think only 3 or 4 actually got touched, which is fine. I was happy to get that done. But this is how far I got on Stitch Sisters. It's a brass. I'll have to put it below what the pattern is, but started that. I've got the lady done here. A lot of this work on the sides I finished. So it's getting filled in. It's almost done, so there's a little bit more to do on it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Little edit. Hubby was wondering where I was. So that was one of the ones that I worked on for Sampler September. That was around the 20th. I kept bringing it out a couple nights. Well, 18th, 19th. It came out as well as 21st. It looks like I did all the stitching on that, the skirt and her little feet. So it's getting there, but I'm going to keep focusing on those. Keep them in the frames when they're this close to a finish. if I need the frame for something else, I usually just pop it off and use it. But this was one of my hauls, Lori Holt's bag. So I've been keeping like 3 or 4 different projects in here, and it goes with me when I go places. Easy to pull. I do want to do what everybody's doing. They're finding a pattern to put on here, and I forget where I seen it, but Teresa Kogut has a free pattern. I think it's on her website, but it says create every day, and I think that's what I'm going to put on this bag because it helps me to bring it and go, and I would love to create something every day, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Seen the brown bag someone had put an autumn stitch on it, so I might have to collect the different colors and kind of do the same thing. But they used a Pearl 5, DMC Pearl 5. It's just one strand, and apparently it goes through the holes of these bags really nice, so that'll be a purchase coming soon with the colors that I want to use for that pattern. Hobby Lobby or wherever, but that's my plan for that bag. So that was something else that I worked on. Like I mentioned, I went to McKinney Knittery again with my friend Nancy and brought my knitting along. So I'll grab that here. Did a few rows on that, and this is going to be one of those fingerless gloves stitched up, and it's coming along. See, I can get my hand almost around it. And I think if you stretch it, you probably could. So I might only have a couple more rows, but I just keep counting and making sure that each row has the same amount so that it looks even when I go to stitch it up. And then of course I'll have to do the other hand, but that was kind of my on-the-go stitch when I go to McKinney Knittery. You can sit and stitch. And we were going to go to lunch but ran out of time, so I just ended up stopping at a meat market and heading home after that. But that was another whip that I worked on. Sorry, I'm looking down. I ended up, might just kind of throw in some haul here as I'm looking. Some of the things I might have shared already in a video. If I've inserted that, I'm going to set it here. But if not, I'm repeating myself, so I do apologize. But in the last couple weeks, I went on to, I'm going to spell it, or I'll put it below, ALIBIS books. And then sometimes you can go on to Amazon, and when you find the book on Amazon, they show at the bottom used copies. And some of these don't look used to me at all. They look brand new. For the price, you can't beat it, because some of them were between $4 and $10 a book, which I thought was great. So I just thought I'd run through these 5 books. I'm still waiting on a wool one that I'm wanting to get, another quilt one, I think. But when I see them and they're that inexpensive, I go ahead and order them. So I went ahead and got this one, and these are all pretty much thanks to Katie, because she shows all of her reproduction fabrics and books on Instagram, and I have to go look for them when I see them because they're too pretty. Joe's Little Favorites, Joe Morton. So it's got quite a few quilts in here, and this one's from Scraps and Fat Quarters, which I've been collecting. So hopefully I can find easy ones to do that are in here. I was noticing on the back here, on this picture, you'll see like a tool holder, and I will share in my haul one that has come that I've ordered, but I think it was Colorado Cross Stitcher, first name, but she shared one she found at a vintage store, and oh, it was just so pretty, and it kind of reminded me of that one. But I just want something to hold my spool threads, and that's why I purchased what I'll share here in a little bit. But when I get these books, I like to look at the pictures as well as find easy patterns. Some of them look a little harder than others, but I've been wanting to do this basket one for a long time, and I have a few other quilts that share this, but with some nice fabrics and stuff, I think that would be pretty. So that was one book that came. Another Joe Morton, Hearth and Home, 13 reproduction quilts from wall hangings and throws. And that's about me, is the size that I'd like to do, is even door quilts. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. Just kind of collecting a few that I see others make and fall in love with. Of course, Katie did one in here called, I think it's called Boardwalk, if I'm not mistaken, but Snuggle Up. These books are by Martingale. Find it quickly. I think it was the leaf one that's in here that I want to do. Even if it's just a wall. Got it? That's it. I'll showing you the pattern. This leaf here. So I just would love to have, I made a bee from Lori Holt, and they turn out to be fairly large. I'm not sure if I've ever shared it before. Maybe I'll pop in a picture of that one, but share it next time. But they turn out to be pretty large, and with a border and a binding on it, perfect door quilt. And then another one called Hope's Journey, Classic Blocks, Reproduction Quilts, and Stories of Bygone Days, which I'm loving Susan Stanley when she talks about the quilts and the girls when they would do it. So that's this other book, Hope's Journey. And this one says The Patchwork Place is where it came, by Betsy Chutchin, I think is how you say it. So lots of pretty quilts. And it looks like the instructions are just simple to do if you are wanting step by step. It kind of looks like how easy they would be to do. And then lastly, Vintage Patchwork, a dozen small projects from one bundle of 10-inch squares. That's kind of what my fall quilt was, from the 10-inch squares. So I'm looking forward to finding like the log cabin. Looks like another leaf one down here. But excited to look through that and see if there's some small things that I can do and branch out, because like I said, I am new at the quilting aspect. Been sewing since high school, but I've never done things like this before. So got 2 going under my belt, so we'll see how many more I can get done. I would like to make one every year for my grandbaby, whether it's even a small square or an actual doll quilt, baby quilt, something. So that's the goal for that. Let's see, oops, I'm dropping things. So that leads us to the end of the last week in September. Looks like I worked on the quilt a little more that week, and I finished a hat that I was making, and it's a crochet item, and I thought I would show you my finished object. It is a gift, so you know who you are. So it'll be coming soon once I finish the other things that I've started. I'd like to send them all together. So it is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October. My pink shirt. And this was something I also bought at Fiberfest. They had it in one of the booths. So it is with their names, but they have Flosstube. And it stands for Stash Acquisitions Beyond Life Expects. I can't even say it. You can read it. But I have the stash, so I had to get this shirt. And also being breast cancer awareness, going through breast cancer, thought I would wear that for my Flosstube this time around. But that was a fully finished object. I was going to go ahead and share a couple that I've finished in the past, being that it's October already. Crocheted my little pumpkin, so it's coming out. It's going to go out on my china cabinet for decorating. So I stitched that up a couple years ago. Had it for 2 years now, I think. And then last year, looking back at some pictures, I did fully finish this in October, might have been September of last year, and ended up putting it on. I think this was a Target find. So the back says "Hello Pumpkin," coffee cup, and I decided to fully finish it. On the front, it is a stitching with the housewives pattern, and it's fraying. We'll put some, what is that stuff called? You can spray on it to keep it from fraying, but kind of gives it that tattered look. But I switched up the pattern from the stitching with the housewives, and I made the cup just a little wider, as well as it didn't have a pumpkin down here. It was more Halloweenish, and I usually change it up to fall in my decor, so I ended up putting the pumpkin with rose on either side. So I just had to do a little math to figure out the stitches, but it worked, and I just love the little scarecrow. So that's my other fully finished that I bring out every year. It'll be my second year using it, and I'm very pleased with that. I'm not sure if I shared this the last time, but I did finish. There was a button missing on this, and this was a stitch back in the 80s that I gave to my mother-in-law, and when she passed away, back into my hands. But I keep it out in where the grandbaby stuff is, and just kind of memories. But I finished putting the button back on. I was thankful that I still had it. It was actually tucked inside here for many years, and then I just said this easy finish, so I went ahead and finished that up. That's special memories. I didn't stuff it as well as I thought, so next time I do a pillow, I'm going to make sure I stuff it really well. And I noticed I didn't finish it. I could actually pull this out and maybe restuff it a little bit. Now, sweet little finish. There's no place like home except Grandma's. So those were the finishes. Back to the pink. I am using Red Heart with Love on these two items. I'm hoping I have enough here to finish the second one, but it's also a fingerless knit, and it's just about ready to be closed up. I love doing these because they go so quickly, but this is a moss stitch, I think is what it's called, as well as the ribbing for the wrist and where your fingers poke out. So I'll finish that up and do the second one, and then where I put it, I don't know if I brought it in here. Doesn't look like it. I thought I had another kind of a variegated yarn that's pink, but I'm going to make a second set. So those will all be gifted. So those were some more whips that I worked on at the end of the month. Gloves, yep. And then I went back to the sampler stitch that I shared before, and I'll share where I'm at now. Doesn't really fit in the bag that I have it in, but this is the pattern from the Scarlet House. I am kind of focusing on it because I want it to be my first sampler finish. Start my sampler wall. And I've gotten a little further on the border, and I was getting a little antsy to get on inside of the border. So I'll share where I'm at. I lose my needle. Use it being in the frame. Just behind here. But I came down and around a little further. If I have pictures of where it was, I'll stick those in. And then starting down here on the, I guess it's like the grass where the little, I guess those are dogs. I'm not sure. They look like little doggies. That's the mound, and then started the feet of the dog in there. So that's kind of where it's at. And I'm having fun with it. I bring it out and keep it in the frame. I have a few of these frames, so it's nice to keep it. So that got worked on, and that just sits out in my stitchy spot because I want to keep going on that one. And it helps keep these needle holders. It helps me to have a few needles in here pre-threaded with different flosses. So right now I've just been leaving it on the back. I've got a green one and a black one right now, as well as a brown one. So now I've got 3 colors on here, so hopefully it won't get too messy. But I just keep changing out the needle. Actually, there's 2 needles there, so the black one and the green one have been threaded. So kind of the way I'm doing it right now. Got a safety pin on there. I guess that was for the type of fabric that I'm doing it on. I'm pretty sure it's a 40 count if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So R&R I think is that fabric that I'm using. Yeah, Winter's Brew. Found it. It got ripped, so I just keep it in the bag. It's a 40 count Winter's Brew R&R fabric that I'm using, and those are just DMC colors that I'm using for this pattern. Got all back in the bag, and that brings us into October. Like I said, I've just been working on some crochet. We did go up to the lake this last week, so we spent a whole week up there, so it was a little busy. I brought all the things and basically just worked on, like I said, that piece and crochet. We did a lot at the slip where we have our boat, so I didn't get a whole lot of crafting in besides the crochet and the sampler stitch that I brought. And like I said, today was Wednesday, and we did our monthly out at Boxcar, so I brought some hand stitching to work on there. And then I came home, and I'm still working on my fall. So if I finish fall, you'll see it on my IG and Instagram, all the different decorations that I do. I might do a house tour when I'm done, but for now, still got the living room and some patios to work on, so I'm going to be doing that. Other things that I want to just focus on this next month. I mean, I'm hoping to bring them back next month and show you what I've finished if I don't have too many rabbit holes or squirrel tracks is what I call them. This fall, I just get scattered a little, but I seen Shelly from Antique Needleworkers. This has been started quite a while back, but it's 3 months ago. Stitching with Friends. I said I wanted to start that. I still need to finish kitting it up, but I do have the fabric for it that I think I'm going to use. I'd like to at least start it, and get, look at how they do it on a monthly basis. They'll probably finish way before I'm done because they're so far ahead, but I did end up getting that from 123 Stitch, so I do want to continue getting that up. So that's on my radar. As well as Alicia from Flamingo. Her box had this pattern in it for the fall, and I am an in-season stitcher, so I am planning to start this one. Whether or not I get on the Zoom tomorrow is when the Zoom is for this pattern. I'm hoping so, but we're planning to go to the lake. If I can just be sitting for a couple hours in the evening once we get there and get unpacked and things, then I'm hoping to try to dial in. Out at the lake, the reception's kind of not so good, so I'm going to try. Whether I'm with them stitching or just by myself, I am going to start this at least that night and then see how it goes. We're not going to be there too long, so once I get back, the box had all of the supplies in it, so I do have everything for it. I just need to get it started. So that's another plan for this next month. And hopefully next month you'll see in November that I at least started it. But I did want, I'd love to be on there stitching with them while they're doing it on the Zoom, and I'm hoping I can, since that was part of the packet that came in Alicia's box, where you get the code and you can just stitch with all the ladies that have that pattern. And that's what that stitching with the friends pattern. I want to do things with others. It really helps me to stay focused, as well as just, it's fun for me. Another plan I'm still working on, but I would love to finish the project bag that I started. It was a YouTuber that I found. I still am at the zipper stage, but I'll share where I'm at. It's my colors. And of course, I have all of these extras that I might just have to make a couple bags from. Definitely do different quilting though, because this quilting took me forever, and to line it all up was kind of hard. Once you get the quilting in, you can't tell, but don't look too close. I'm using, this is where the zipper will go. Here, got the front quilted. We like this. This is the front. And this is the lining that I've got quilted. This will be the back. That side, so it'll all sandwich together once I get it. Cut it to size, of course. Always make my backs a little bit bigger. I haven't down yet. Once I get the zipper in, then of course put the binding on, and I'll have a nice size zipper bag, I'm hoping. These are the other pieces that I've already got labeled for the next one. But I have tons of zippers, so I just need to get busy on these project bags. But with all the other crafts, it's a little hard. So this is the binding that I want to use for that particular one. Might have to piece it. We'll see when I get to that stage. So that's another thing that I like. If I'm in my craft room, sewing room, that's where I'll be doing. And like I said, I am an in-stitcher, and this was bought back when I went to the quilt show. I would like to start this weekend. I am going to bring this into my little tote bag that I'm bringing up to the lake. Maybe cut out my circle, but I would like to make this fall pin cushion. At least get it started, as well as a piece of wool I want to bring to see if I can't do some wool applique. Just seeing so many people, how easy and simple they look, I want to try something. So those are my plans for the rest of October. Got some fabrics in here that I want to bring, all things. So I'm sure I can make up something, whether it's with wool or with fabric. Get some practice in on some stitches. I forget what they're called when you do the straight stitching and applique stitch, all that. I want to try to see how easy it is. Right now with the doll quilt, it's just straight stitching, but go around and cut out your piece. If YouTube can help me there. So those are some plans that I have right now. Like I said, I'm still in the process with these boxes. Might take me into November, end of November, but I need to fold them and stack them and get them out of the cupboard and rearrange those. I still haven't worked on my cross stitch fabrics either. I've got the poster board, or what they call that board that you wrap them around, so I have to do that. So there's always something. I'm not sure if I shared this last time, but I did get Christine Callie had Stitch Folk merchandise, so the water bottle is what I went for, and I had them put my name on it. So I'm not sure if I shared that in the video of haul or not. That will get slipped in. And then today, when I was at the quilt store, I had found this thimble, and I wanted to have at least one in my stash. It's fairly large, so it will have to be either, I've seen people hang their cross stitches this way, or you can actually wrap it and stuff it like a drum. I'm not sure, but I did want to have one in my stash, so I picked that up for, it was $12. They had all different sizes, so I went with the bigger one. Maybe next time I'll go for a smaller one. A lot of the stitching that I've noticed on the fabric you use, you can get tiny little things too, so that would be cute as well. But I wanted to get one of those, so that was another purchase. And then I'm not sure These were gifted to me. I might have shared them already. But what is her name? Chantel from 141 has all those things, boxes that you can put things on. So this came, as well as another frame. I'm pretty sure I shared these, so I'm probably repeating myself. They are good quality woods. I'm really pleased and very thankful. It was a winnings from the Fanciful Flamingo, if I'm not mistaken. So lots of little things to share. And then another thing that I was very surprised at, thanks to Shelly and her Instagram. If you love payday bars, one of those things people do, things that they're into. I am into this. I love payday bars, and if you like dry roasted peanuts and candy corn, I've had people say they hate candy corn. But if you like a payday bar and you at least get 1 or 2 candy corns with a handful of the peanuts, it tastes just like a payday bar. So I had to try that. And then there's the Brock's candy corns and dry roasted peanuts. 2 ingredients mixed together, and I went ahead and put it in a little pumpkin for the fall. And I've been nibbling on them already, so neat little treat. Lastly, I'll do an unboxing, and then we'll call Flosstube 19 finished. Hopefully get it up here in the next week with all the things happening, I hope, and no technical issues. But this came from R&R Woodworks. He's made me several things. Floss winders, clappers for my sewing. Got like 2 of those. And I want to order some more floss winders because I like to have them in different bags. I'm always getting things up. I'm going to probably order a few more of those. But he came out with a spool holder. I'm trying not to spend too much on one particular thing. And I'd seen some of the ones that came out. They were a little pricey and I just couldn't do it. So I texted and asked him if he had these in the making, and he actually had already sent some out to test them. I was very glad that he finally got these up on his website. So if you're interested in holding your silky threads or 103s, if you do the silk threads, again, this is what this is for. It's got it taped up nicely. I ordered this maybe been a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Went with the cherry looked the prettiest to me. That's why I did that. But I'm doing a true unboxing here for you. Here's his card. It's a cedar, not cherry. It's cedar spool holder. And the price was, I mean, for a piece of wood product like this, very good. But this is his card. Roxanne and I have been chatting a little bit, sweet lady. She shared with me all what he does when he does these, and it just kind of amazes me. He loves to do this. Packaged very well, and it will hold, forget, 24 spools. I'm excited to see this, and it feels nice, just the weight of it. It will sit in my little stitchy area. Sorry for the crinkling. Oh my goodness, look at this. Let me just drop the paper. Look at that. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 16, 24. Look at that. I love it, Rich. Oh, it's so pretty and smooth. So yeah, if you want something to hold your spools, I keep them stored right now in an acrylic box over there, but if I'm kidding the project that needs so many spools, this is where they'll be. So thank you so much. I am very tickled with that. Oh yeah, and it's nice. And oh, the rounded edges. Oh, I love it. So another item to have my collection of R&R woodworks. And I love the way that just, oh, so pretty. So that will do for today's Flosstube 19. I appreciate you following me. If you like and subscribe, thank you so much. We will talk to you all next month. Bye-bye.
Okay, this is making me crazy. So all this is everybody's got dataless wheels.
Fiberfest. It is in Irving here in Texas. They had it this year it was a weekend event, but I only went for one day on Friday. And found a few things. I was a little overwhelmed. Lots of things to look at, lots of yarn. What surprised me was they had like spinning wheels and things like that, so that kind of attracted my attention. But just to give you an idea, we picked up, I'm going to set this over here because I got to get a couple things out here. But I did purchase that bag. It was last year's bag, a little cheaper. I'm going to get out what I have to here so I can share that. They did have this year's bags, but the colors, I wanted the green, so that's why I stuck with last year's. But they're all the same quality of bags. The canvas is really nice. As you can see, very large, and just a memorandum of going and fun event. And I'll probably go next year if I get reminded in time. You could sign up for classes also if you're interested in knitting or crocheting. They had classes and things. But just to give you an idea, besides all the flyers I got, we picked up their business cards, so pretty thick. I'll insert some pictures of that I took while there. They also, like I said, had spinning wheels, so there was quite a few people trying them, and they have like what they call drop spindles. Very unique way of spinning, I guess, but I have never done it, so I was intrigued. Didn't buy anything though to start something like that, but I've seen like Shelly and from Antique Needleworkers, Mountain Crest Studios, Christine, they all have these spinning wheels, so it was on my alert, but I just had no idea I would see how they actually used them and things like that. So I picked up a little magnet, came in this little metal box, which I've been keeping my little, they had little stitch markers at some of the booths that you could pick up. Not sure if these are coming out or not. So we just, as we went to each booth, we looked at all the stuff that they had. Most of them were stitch markers. This one has a dragonfly. Some pretty colors. And I do knit, especially when counting, they come in handy when you're counting your stitches. A little heart. So that was fun. So I've just been keeping them in this little tin. My magnet will go over on my little magnet board. So those were little unique freebies that they gave us. Here's another one. Looks like a little wood. So each little booth had their own little take on things. And I'll insert it here also because I didn't bring it in here. I bought a V-neck t-shirt that had the word Sable on it, which is about how much stash you have for a lifetime. I had to get that shirt. I did buy clothing while I was there. I don't know why I was thinking of things like that, but they also had a booth that had some coffee socks. Those buy 3 and got a little discount. So I don't have any coffee socks, so now I do. So that was a fun little find. And like I said, you could go all weekend, but we just opted to go one day. A lot of the booths, some of them were really unique, felting and things like that with yarn. So it was fun to see all the different ways you can use yarn. Clover had a booth, so we got to see, some of the tools that you could get. These are wonder pins. I've never used them, so I'll be interested to see how those work. The bag that I bought actually had some freebies in it, like a pen that says DFW Fiberfest, glass cleaning things, measuring tapes, just little things, luggage tags. So those all came in the bag that I purchased. That was fun. Like I said, they had their flyers for different booths. I'm trying to think some of the names of them, but just very unique. And then you could pick up free patterns, which was fun if you're a knitter, or they had projects you could do. So picked up all that. So I've got lots of flyers to organize. Of course, Clover had their catalog, all their stuff in it. We're gonna organize all this, but that was my purchases from Fiberfest. Oh, there was one more. Wool. I was into looking at their wools and things. I'd like to try some applique. So either something fallish, pumpkin. This one's from Friday Night Fibers. They're hand dyed. I got a fat quarter. Just love the color. So hopefully fall will be here soon. Today is Saturday is the first day of fall here in Texas, the 23rd or 4th, I think. So that was a fun day. I went with a friend who invited me. So we enjoyed that. see what else. I hope I'm in frame. I haven't checked, but let's move to another happy mail that I got. Alicia from the Fanciful Flamingo. Her birthday today. Happy birthday, Alicia. But she was giving away on her Facebook page things, and I actually was drawn for one. And the gift that I got from her came from Chantel141. This just came loose. Try to hold it up without it all falling apart. I haven't put it together totally. But it's their willow box where you put your finishes on them. Very unique. So that was one of the things that came in the package from 141. She's online, she's on IG. You can find all of her stuff. Actually texted to see how it went together, and I was able to get to her site and showed. So there was actually 3 different things in the package. This is another one. I guess you mount your finish on there. Not sure what these slits are. I'll have to figure that out. Not sure if it goes on something or if you can finish it a certain way. Unless it goes on that box, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. But that was in the bag, as well as I guess it's the backing board. But very heavy duty wood pieces. So I was pleased to get that. Thank you, Alicia. Giving gifts on your birthday to other people was sweet, very sweet. But I hope it's a wonderful day today for you. I think, I'm not going to say positively, 53 is what I thought she said, but not positive. A few Amazon purchases. I don't know if I shared these the last time, but I mentioned them with the quilt that I'm making. Very handy numbered pins, so if you've got things that are in rows, it helps you stay organized. So I picked those up from Amazon. Like I said, I like to try wool applique. I've never done it before, so I've been collecting a few of the supplies needed. And I heard about this Roxanne glue basted. So that came from Amazon, as well as, my mic's still on. Katie from So Tattered has been mentioning a few designers that are just very unique vintage reproduction fabrics and stuff. Joe Morton had a book called Joe's Little Favorites, so I had to pick that up. That was an Amazon purchase, as well as from here. I'm really overcrowded. I've been working on my patterns and putting them in my notebook, so I needed more plastic sleeves, so another box of those came. So those, I think, were my Amazon purchases. Let me quickly show you. I'm also organizing my half-yard cuts and fat quarters. I got 2 of these Home Edit narrow bins, pack of 2. Get them at Target. My Target only had a few left, so I was grateful. I got 4 total, so 2 sets of each. And I'll probably, right now they're just stacked in my shelf over there, but I think I'll either lay them in back of the bookshelf going this way. Just depends on if they go down there or up in the shelf. But you fold them and they fit perfect in here. Fat quarters too would work as well. So I have to decide which ones I have the least of, because like I said, I only bought 4. But I'd like to organize them in those. So I got 2 of those. Excuse me. Let's see. I did go to 123 and finish spending my birthday money. So when I went to go pick up the order, I think I mentioned in the front of the store, it's just a little walk-in area, but they have patterns and flosses and things that you can get while you're picking up your order. So I found these 2 spools of 103, darker green and almost like a royal blue. So I picked those 2 up as well as another brand that I've not used called Threadworks. Heard of it, but I've never had any. It's 100% cotton over-dyed flosses. I had this green, so I picked that up. I'm just collecting more flosses. But the actual order that I was picking up was a few tools. This is a Dritz Snag Nabbit. I do use those when I'm stitching. When you get a fray or whatever and you want to push it down, these go perfect. So that'll sit next to my stitching area. My other ones that I have are in my on-the-go bag, so I don't like going and grabbing it and forgetting it when I go to leave again. So I thought having an extra one would help. And then I needed a 10-inch ruler, 10 by 10, because the ones that I do have are either 10.5 or larger. So this will be good for sizing up my blocks when they need to be 10 inches. That came from 123. And like I said, in that area where you pick up your order, they had some freebies. So I found a few freebies. The printouts is what they are. So those will get organized in my little sleeves and labeled. That's kind of what I've been doing the last couple weeks, is making sure I know where my patterns are. This is the chart I purchased. Becca from Sambria Stitches has one out called Hope. Thought it was just so pretty. It is in Hebrew. I am a believer, so I thought stitching that up will be perfect. And maybe gift it to my husband. And then the two fabrics that I got from 123, might even use one of them for that stitch. I'm not sure yet. One's a 32 count Ancient Belfast. Love the modeling on this. I think it's a fat quarter. Say, didn't put my glasses on. Oh no, 1/8 of a yard. But it's very unique. I love the modeling on that. So picked that one up, as well as a fat quarter of hand-dyed 18 count Ada called Milk and Honey. Didn't take it out of the plastic, but that's just a neutral that will come in handy. We'll look forward to using these and trying to get a few more since I have so many charts. Gotta have fabric in order to stitch them, right? So that's why I picked those up. And like I said, I used the last of my birthday money with that from 123 Stitch. The craft store that I go to weekly on Wednesdays, I had put an order in for a pattern that I thought was so pretty called My Dear Scarlet. And that came in, so I picked that up this last week. That's what it looks like. I have plenty of fabrics that I can sort through and use that I've purchased already, so that will be something I want to do for a gift for someone. And like I said, what else here? Oh, I mentioned Katie with So Tattered. She shared something on Instagram that she was making a pumpkin, and she used this product called Chenille It, which I'm glad and grateful they put the instructions on the back, but that's the product. Comes in a little roll. I did the natural instead of colors. They have all different colors, but I thought natural would go with most of the things. And if I do try to applique, I might try to use something like that in a stitch. But to see how she did it was kind of unique, and I thought having it in my stash would be ready to go when I need it. So that was a purchase. Looking here, what else is down here in front of me? Facebook page called Farmhouse Flossies. This is their card, and they had some hand-dyed flosses, so I thought all colors. I did 3 different ones here. This one's called Pumpkin Pie. Hoping this is coming through. Just some fall colors. This one's called Buttered Popcorn. And this one's called Sun Glow. So I'm getting into the fall kinds of things, even though we're in the 90s still. Hopefully in the next week or two. It'll start dropping. Even if I got early morning coolness, I would be happy. It just hasn't been happening. That and rain. We need rain really bad. So that was a Facebook farmhouse flossies. So that was a fun purchase. I'll do, where did I put it? Excuse me. Thought I did, oh, it's right here in front of me. I did a fat quarter shop order for fabrics that I was looking at after making the flimsy top that I've done with the rustic gatherings that I've mentioned with the 10-inch squares. I was looking at the 10-inch squares on their site and found a Pambuda again with the reproduction fabrics. This one's from Marcus Fabrics, and it's a redwood covered, so I was thinking more Christmas reds, kind of mixing it into that. That's my thoughts anyway, but I didn't take it out of the plastic, but that's the one that I did, 10-inch square, which that ruler will come in handy, I'm thinking. And then the other one was Lockwood Manor, and that one's by K. England, and it's a 10-karat crystals. But I love the black and white, so that really attracted me as well. So I got 2 of those in the 10-inch size. And then I've been looking for blues and whites and creams. So this laundry basket quilts, I got it through Fat Quarter Shop, called Sea Breeze. I got the bundle, so that'll be fun to unpack and probably put them in those bins that I bought. Fat quarters is probably what I'll end up doing with all my fat quarters, so I can see them easily and know what I have. But that was a fun purchase. That also finished up some of the birthday money that I had, so that was fun. And then I think lastly is this, came in this little bag, which will be a cute little bag maybe for yarn or something, but Christy and Callie from Boss and Cousins, they are partnering with Barry from Stitch Folk, and they shared like sweatshirts and t-shirts. Like I mentioned with the t-shirt I bought, I like the v-neck, but I think with the weather that we have here in Texas, I would get more use out of getting their water bottles that they have that you can customize. And that's what I did with this one. You know, FOMO, you don't want to miss out. Also, I don't have anything with my Flosstube name on it, so I thought with the customization, instead of putting my first name like Christy and Kelly put on their bottles, I would put my Flosstube name. And Barry was, I mean, he was immediate with an email. I just texted him. I said, can you put my Flosstube name on it instead of my first name? And he was like, sure. So I was very pleased to have something with my Flosstube name on it for the first time, and also be part of the cousins. So thanks Christy and Callie and Barry from Stitch Folk. And the quality is like Christy said, it's stainless steel on the inside. And my water bottle was looking pretty sad. I've had it for a couple years now. The handle has broken off of it, so and it's a little bit bigger too. So this is a nice size, fits nicely in my hand. So I will put my ice water in it, and at night I always have water next to the bed. So this is perfect, and also just a reminder of those stitchy friends that we have out there, and something with my name on it. I love red too, so that's pretty. In the picture online, it kind of looks pink, but it's really not. It's more of a white with the red, and behind the cow is kind of a peachy, but I was very pleased with it, and I will use that for my water. Got the flip top and the straws in there, so that will be perfect. Very unique, and it does have a handle, which is good. The handle that I had before moved, and I'm not sure if that's why it broke, but this one's stationary to the top, easy to pick up and carry. So get yourself a water bottle if you're not into the sweatshirts and t-shirts. But I will use this daily, so be a good reminder of my stitchy friends out there. Other than that, I think for now that's all that's come. I have a couple um, books coming that I had ordered also, more on the Civil War reproduction patterns and things that I think Kim Deal, one of them was, but I'll show those once they get here. And this will be pretty much it for my haul portion, unless I slip some others in here. But thank you for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye. Hi, Flosstube. It's Linda from Richter Stitcher. Um, Sorry for the in and out on my Flosstube. I started this almost 2 weeks ago, and we went away for a whole week up at the lake, and things got a little scattered. So I'm not sure if I inserted everything in the proper order, but on the very end here, I wanted to slip it back in now that it's October the 13th, Friday the 13th, and just update from what I did 2 weeks ago and just kind of make sure I covered it all in here for the month of October and what's happening. Let me get to my notes. Don't want to forget anything. So I've got those. And we are finally cooler here in Texas. Supposed to be in the 70s and 80s the next 14 days. So we are really looking forward to some fall kind of temps and events, things like that. So I think the last time I mentioned what date it was like October the 6th or somewhere around there. And now that it's a week later, I've just been trying to edit my video and put things in that's happened so that you can see. And as you have seen, you know, my event at Fiberfest and all that happened and had a great time. So what I want to do pretty much today is just pull out things that I've pulled out since a week ago. I have had a few starts, and now that it's fall, I've really come to realize that I am a in the season stitcher, because you know, I've decorated my house now for fall. I am in a different spot with my tree, and just loving the color is kind of what I miss. I'm originally from Michigan, so grew up with, you know, each season, and when fall came, you had the trees change, and here in Texas, they don't really change. They go from green to brown. So I put the color on the inside of my house and on a few of the porches, and I just really love to have that out. And now that with my grandbaby, I you know, want to experience it with her. So I think even tomorrow we're planning to go to like a little, I don't know if it's called a pumpkin patch or just a little fall area, not too far away, but let her see the pumpkins. And she's not even 2 yet, so I don't really know because their memory, what they remember at that age, but we want to take pictures and things like that with her. So we're planning those kind of things. But while you're really here for updates, it's more than cross stitch, but I will start with the cross stitch. So if you want to leave, you can. Let's see. Since it was the 4th, I think, is when I mentioned the date the last time. We had the event at Boxcar, which was great, and I mentioned going each month to that. I really loved getting to see some stitchers that I've met through, you know, social media and things. Katie from So Tattered, she wasn't there this last time, but kind of a little jealous of her right now because I know this weekend is a stitch retreat that she's going to, and I was hoping to go, but tomorrow's my husband's birthday, so I opted to spend it with my husband instead of going on a retreat. But as of retreat news, I have started my little fund, and I think I'm up to $360. So I'm hoping to find some retreat next year that I can, in advance, sign up for and actually experience my first retreat. So fun for, I think Rita is also another stitcher that I've met through Boxcar, and she's actually going on that retreat as well. So a little jealous of a few of those ladies, but I wish they have a wonderful time, and can't wait to hear of their experiences at the retreat next time we get together. As for fall stitching, I did want to bring up Erin Elizabeth Designs had a freebie come out, and it's October, but it's more of a Thanksgiving stitch, which I want to start now so that maybe I'll be, maybe a finish before Thanksgiving. But like I said, in season is what I've found that I've enjoyed stitching. So I kitted this one up. It's called Give Thanks Freebie. And I didn't have all the same colors that they have. So what I usually do is just go to my stash and find the colors that are similar. So what I did with that, I can pull it off here without dropping a bunch of other stuff, is actually this is the wrong one. This is for the other one I'm going to share. It's this one. And a lot of this yarn, a lot of the flosses that I've been pulling are from my mother's stash that she had given me back in, was that July or June? Did I go see her? Maybe it was February. When I went in February, I went to see her. She gave me all of her cross stitch flosses because she said she wasn't going to be doing it anymore. And I'm hoping at 80 I won't be that way, but it's just something she doesn't want to do anymore, so she passed it on to me. So they are from bobbins, and they're kind of wrinkled, but these are the colors that I came up with. There was a few that I did purchase that weren't wrinkled because I wanted to kind of stick to the colors of the turkey. But I think those colors, I do what some people do, they just kind of twist it up. And I think those are some pretty fall colors that will go nicely with this stitch. So I got it all kitted up on my rings, my little card, and the fabric that I want to use. Grab that here real quick. Got so much stuff around here that I want to share. Hopefully not take too much of your time. I just put it in this little bag. I think I shared this in the earlier video that I was thinking of using it for something else, but I found my little pin, got it started where I want to start it, but I really like the modeling for a fall stitch called Belfast linen, ancient Belfast linen. So it's got kind of an older, they kind of look blue. I don't know what you're seeing, but blues and browns, which with this blue in the floss, the DMC number that I chose, 930. I think it'll go nicely, all those colors. So that's what I'm going to use as my start. I actually haven't put a thread in yet, but I've got it marked and ready to go. I just need to probably put it on a, not a Q-snap. What are the ones that I use? The flat ones. The hoop. But I will stretch it out and put it on that and get that started here in the next week or two. Not a lot of cross stitches happened the last 2 weeks, just more kitting up and finding what I want to start and work on the month of October and November, because hubby's on a sabbatical. He's been on since September the 15th. So not a whole lot of actual stitching time, just on the sampler September that you've seen. I did the samplers piece. Whenever we would go to the lake, I had that with my crochet mostly. So once he goes back to work, which is this coming week, Wednesday, I think I'll get back to my sewing as well as my cross stitching. More of a schedule because it's been all over the place the last month, not sure what he wanted to do. And I kind of just do what he's doing. And if my stitching gets in the way, it just gets set aside until I have that time. And like I said, we spent a whole week up at the lake, so I just pretty much brought one piece of cross stitch and I crochet because it's just easier on the go. So that is one that I am going to continue and keep out. So that was fun to see that in the last week. And then I didn't share in my sampler September how far I had gotten on the Handworks Paste was one of the ones that I picked. I'll get the chart out here so you can see this one here. I did finally get a little further, and I am a slow stitcher, so it's not a big difference. But I went a little further down on the border, and it's kind of an ancient look. I don't have a board to put behind it, so I'm not quite sure if it's showing up. But I did get the flower stem as well as a little further down here. And it's kind of a satin stitch, this border. But I am liking the way it looks on this. I'm sorry it's not ironed. But we're getting a little further down. So it'll be a nice size piece. I think I'm ready to turn the corner, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to count and make sure when I get ready to go. But if I start getting closer to a finish, I know I'll speed up on my work. So that was another September that I got worked on that I did not share in my previous clips. So I wanted to be sure and share that. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking down. Did I bring it in here? Don't know if I did. I'm going to pause here just for a second and grab the one that I did work on and start. Sorry about that. I had to go grab this, but it's another freebie, and it's actually from Teresa Kogut. It's the Create Every Day from her Nashville 2020 freebie. So that is that one, and I think if you go to her Creative Whims site, Teresa Kogut, you'll find that freebie to print off. But I decided I wanted to put it on one of these Lori Holt bags, and I did get that started. I'm using a Pearl Cotton 5, and I just started with the Y on day, is how I kind of actually took the pattern and I put it inside to kind of center it in the front, just to kind of see where I could start stitching, and you can kind of see through the bag, so that's really helpful, so that I know that the Y on day is here and the rest will be here. So I'll just kind of count from there. I just want to get a few more flosses though. The one that I'm using right now is, like I said, number 5, Pearl Cotton, and the number on the actual skein said 935. So it's a green, a dark green. So what I'm thinking for this particular pattern is the everyday words will be in this color, and the create I want to do in a different shade of green. So it'll all have like a green tint to it on the mint bag is what I'm using. And if I think of a design that I want to put underneath, I might do that. Just depends. Nothing has come to mind right now. For now, I just want to do the words. See how that looks when I get done. So that did get started. That was another start last week. I wanted to share that, as well as, sorry if I'm shaking the table, where I've got my camera as well as my microphone. I hope you can hear me. The other haul that has come since the last clip that you've seen, Floss Boss and Cousins sent me a thank you because I had sent them some things in the mail. So this was a card they sent me. So sweet, and a little note. And I don't know if you've all seen from Barry at Stitch Folk, they have merchandise from Floss Boss and Cousins, and I shared this previously, but I am using the water bottle. I really like it. It's easy to carry. Like I said before, the other one I had was kind of bulky and the handle had broke, but I'm really enjoying been using that. So that was a fun little note to get in the mail. Appreciate their Flosstube as well. And I might put at the end of this, people have been sharing Flosstubers that they watch. So I might put a little clip of a few that I've enjoyed in the last month and maybe do that every month so that you can kind of see ones that you haven't seen. And I've actually seen a few that are new to me, so I'll slip those in as well at the end. Another purchase, Sambria Stitches had mentioned this to me, as well as Shelly from Antique Needleworks. We were chatting and she gave me a review that she really enjoys this book, and it has patterns in it. And so I went to Lori Sykes, I think is her name. Can't think of the crafty something, but I'll put it underneath. But she still had some in her Etsy shop, so I went ahead and purchased one, and this just came in the last week. And I flipped through it, and I like the big area that you have for writing things down in a month. That's kind of how I do my Flosstubes. So for next year, this is 2024, I'll be using that. And it's also a good planner if you're planning a retreat. So hopefully I can maybe find different things, phone numbers and things of stitchy places that I can keep track of. And this is kind of what I'm thinking I'll use for that. So that was a purchase also. And I might be on a purchase freeze at least for the next month. I really need to focus on not getting so many things and actually doing the things. So that's kind of what I'm going to look for in the next 2 months anyways. Since Christmas is almost upon us, I need to really focus on getting some finishes instead of buying all the things. But I did pick up some more books. Of course, yeah, we are kind of rocking you. I am so sorry. Don't want to move you too far. I want to get you off of this so that it doesn't keep doing that. Let's pause here for a minute. Okay, hopefully that's better. I didn't want to keep rocking you, and it was half on the carpet, half on the tile, so you were getting a little motion there. Anyway, back to the purchases. I think I had 4 more books besides, well, that was one, the cross stitch planner. That came, as well as 3 other books. 2 are, or one is for quilting, one is for, I guess, wool projects, and then the other is one that I was watching Flosstuber had mentioned. Can't think of the name of them, but they'll be in that clip of Flosstubers. She actually had knee surgery, I think, and someone sent her a book, and that's kind of how I heard about it. I'll share that one first. It's called When This You See by Elaine Rychek, I think is how you say it. So I found a used copy, which is fine, but it was hardcover. And I've just kind of flipped through it a little bit, and she just kind of explained, I mean, it has charts and stitching. It talks about samplers, but it gives a little more of the history of samplers, which was kind of what I was looking for, because that's kind of my interest when it comes to books. I mean, you look at some of the stitching that's in these books, and I just wanted to have it in my collection, so I did pick up that one. I think I've mentioned in previous clip, Alibris, Alibris books, has a lot of used books, but you can also go onto Amazon, and instead of buying new, you have options for used, and that's how I found this one, was on Amazon. So it wasn't very expensive at all. Some are more expensive than others, so you just have to kind of do your research. And then the 2 other books that I got was a Kim Deal book. I think I mentioned I was getting that, and it finally arrived. Called Simple Friendships. So more quilts with the reproduction fabrics and things, which have really caught my eye lately. I'm still working on, I think I brought it in here, and I'll share that when we get to the sewing portion. And then the other book was a Buttermilk Basins Pick of the Crop. So I think I've also mentioned trying wool, and Katie mentioned that this was a really good book, step by step, easy to follow. So that's why I purchased my first wool book. So I'm hoping, like I said, with some of the pieces around the fall that I wanted to do, maybe find a pumpkin in here and just, or I mean, some of them are just so cute. See if I can find the one I was looking at. The acorn or the pumpkin, but they're just so cute. And I have some wool. I've never done the stitching on applique, so I'm hoping my first piece won't look too bad, but I do want to try something out of this book as my first piece, so that's why I purchased that. So those were the purchases. Let's see. Let's go through a few other starts and kitted things that I got together that I didn't share in my last clip. I've put, again, more wrinkled floss. Sorry about that, but these are some, and then there's some new skeins also that I haven't got on floss drops yet, but they will. But I'm thinking these colors with, you know, the newer ones also, browns, greens. For this freebie also, I find a lot of freebies. Found this one, and I think I mentioned it in my last Flosstube, Pumpkin Cottage by, let's see who it's by. If I put it down here. Printed off some extra copies so that I have marking copies. I don't know, just not got used to putting them on the computer and doing it that way yet. Computers scare me. I'm looking to see who it's by. Not Forgotten Farms, but it is a freebie. I'll just flash it really quick. It's got a pumpkin and a house, so that was a must. And I'm going to do it on perforated paper. So I've got a piece of that in here. And then, like I said, the flosses I've got written down on my card. So it actually hasn't been started, but I am ready to go. So in the next couple weeks, this will be another fall start that I want to do in October and November. And that's kind of probably how I'm going to work going forward, is the things that I've kitted and started in that month is all I'm going to show. And then if there's ones that get picked up just out of boredom and I go and want to start working on a older whip, then I'll bring that to the Flosstube also. But seasonally is kind of how I'm thinking I'll be. The zoom stitch on the last clip, I think I mentioned it was the next day, and I was able to get on. We did not end up going to the lake that day. We waited 2 or 3 days because the weather was just still too warm and we wanted it to be a little cooler. So I ended up being home that Thursday night when they had the zoom stitch for Alicia's box that was sent called Halloween Pumpkin Patch. And I'll stick in a picture. You know, I actually was out on the back patio that evening because it was a nice evening to be able to sit out there. And I got it all kitted up. Did not actually get my threads into it, but while we were zooming and chatting with, actually the guest speaker was the lady that made this pattern, KEB Studio Creations. So we got to meet her and ask her questions. So that was a lot of fun, but I was able to get the flosses all on the rings, and I like to wind them with what is it, R&R Woodworks threader that you just kind of wind and snip, and that's kind of how I do my threads, which for me is kind of relaxing. So that got kitted up that evening, and that was a fun evening to spend. 2 hours, I think, is what we spent. So that was done also. So it'll be another stitch that gets worked on. And not a fall stitch, but my August stitch, excuse me, that was from a couple months ago, Country Cottage Needleworks. I did not work any more on it, but it's still on this huge piece of fabric. And being an in-season stitcher, what I think I'm going to do is space out this amount that I need. And what I did was pulled out October. I'm going to find the flosses that aren't already on this set. If there's any matching, I'll pick up the ones that I need for the October, and I'm going to put it probably down here, and I'm going to start October. So at least they're started for the month, and then I can at least keep working on them each month. I can, if I start January through December, then I'll look at what month it is, and that will be the one that I pull to work on. So October's will get started this month. And then when November gets here, I'll pull November's, see what missing flosses that I need, and I'll just do it that way. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Trying to get a little organization to my stitching, if you want to call that. But October's will get started, and I've started August. And then, like I said, in November, I'll start November. That way they'll all get started, and I'll have them to pull each month going forward. So that's the plan for that. And then there was one that I was anxious to keep going on. I have started this one, but I pulled it also to start this month and next month. It's a Twin Peak Primitive stitch. And I think it was a freebie, but I'm not positive. You can go on there and look. It's called Zig and Zag's Carnival. And that's what it looks like. And I have it stitched or kitted up. Let me see if I put any stitches in it. I know I wrote it all down and have it all on my card. And here's the colors that I'm going to use. So maybe I haven't actually started it, but it's kitted and ready to go. And I decided to use the Etoile. So I put my colors, you know, they kind of look similar. And let's see if I have the fabric in here. Yes, I do. And I have a pin in it. So I have my spot where I'm going to start. And it's going to be on a piece of, see what it says. Yeah, it was a freebie. And I kitted this back in 2022 of September 29th to be exact. And I'm looking to see what the name of this fabric is. I didn't put it down. It doesn't look like I wrote down fabric. It was supposed to be my fall start last year, and I guess I never started it. But I got it all kitted up. And I don't have the actual fabric. I know it's an Aida, and it says 14 count, but I'm not sure of the actual color. Kind of a brown, but I think it'll look nice on this piece. And it's not a very large stitch. It's only 73 by 40. So I've just noticed a lot of people doing smalls and how quickly they can get them done. I just need to actually get them started. So having the pin in where I want to start, all the flosses, and the pattern, it should be easy, right? But for some reason, I enjoy kitting so much. I just need to get them in. So being a seasonal stitcher maybe will help me just to pick 3 or 4 to work on throughout that season, and then update you the following month. So I think that's it for cross stitch. I'm just going to update you on a few of the sewing things and the crochet that I've been doing. So real quick, I'll insert a picture here. I think I mentioned last month that I made some gifts using this, it's like burlap almost, but I just embroidered some initials. So I did that for another friend, and that's what that finish was. So that was a finish that I was able to do. This is the yarn or wool that I want to use for the buttermilk basin. And then I put in here some fall fabrics because I want to try and, like I said in the previous clip, work on this wool pin cushion, or not wool, fabric. They have fabric in it, but I'm not sure if I want to use their fabrics or maybe one of mine. So those are some fall things that I'm going to do in the next couple months that I'll be working on. So I wanted to share that with you. So these are kind of like my plans the next couple months that I didn't really share in the clips before. I worked on my Susan Stanley doll quilt a little bit. I got a few more squares sewn together. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more that I've sewn into their 4 patches. I still have a few. I think I just seen that she put out her 4th video of actually putting the rows together, so they are a little bit ahead of me. But I am going to try and focus on this before January, like I said, because it is a doll quilt for my grandbaby that for her birthday in January. So I do want to finish it, so that will get some more designated. I might even look at my calendar and put it on a couple days a week, just so that it gets a little further along than I have. But everything's in my little sampler bag that I put in here with the needles and the symbol and the backing and the binding. So it's all in here. I just need to keep focusing on it. So it sits out, it goes with me whenever we leave, just so that I have it. I just need to be more focused on it. So the doll quilt for Susan Stanley did get a little work patched up. A couple finishes I think I shared in clips before this clip. I finished the hat. I finished one glove. It's a fingerless glove. And I got just the amount that I need for the second. I just need to stitch it up and it'll be done. So I'll have one set of gloves and a hat, and I'm debating on whether I'll do, because these were pretty simple, another set or a scarf with this color. And as you can see, it's October, breast cancer awareness. So these are going to some special people, and I just need to finish them. So I've got 2 of the 3 that I need, so it's coming along. So those were some finishes that I was pleased to get, and also starts in the last couple weeks. And these fabrics or yarns I actually found while we were at the lake. That whole week that we stayed, we went to Walmart and went to their aisle, and I just found some pinks and white that I needed. So that's what, those were also purchases that I did in the last couple weeks. I've shared in the clips before here how much of the rustic gatherings fabrics that I finished. So I'm still on the 3rd row here. Like I said, hubby's home, so I'm not been able to, I mean, I have brought my sewing machine out in the living room while he's been off, but it is a little bit of a hassle to pull everything out there, so it's just not been done. So I still have 4 more rows to sew on, but I am still focused on getting this done before Thanksgiving. So I still have a good month and a half, a month and a week, 5 weeks or so. If I can get the flimsy top made and the batting onto it, then quilting it shouldn't go too long. But maybe by the end of the season, I'll have a finished fall quilt. But these are the other 4 rows that I have to add to those 3 rows. So I am very pleased that it's as far as it has gotten. So I am going to focus on that starting next week when he goes back to work. Not that I mind him being home, but I just don't get a whole lot of crafty sewing and cross stitching done, because my mind goes to, okay, hubby's home, we need to be attentive. I don't know if anybody else is like that or not, but that's kind of what I've been noticing anyway. And during COVID, when nobody went anywhere, we needed our separate rooms at one point, but it was fine. We got through it. But we do everything together, so that's kind of why I think my focus is on when he's home, I'm with him, and my things can wait. The other sewing item was, and I've mentioned in the previous clips, I've been working on more project bags, but once he's back to work, I will finish this one that I've been showing you. This one will get done, and then I have a bunch of Lori Holt ones that I want to do, and that way I have those to keep my projects in, as well as I'm kind of in the back of my mind thinking gifts for a few people as well. So I just need to focus and get those kind of things back in my schedule. So as for that, let me make sure I've covered everything. My notes are right here. Yeah, I did those. Let's see. project bags, the quilts, the crochets, the pin cushion. Yeah. And I think, like I mentioned, the wool, I think it was Katie had mentioned she does wool Wednesdays. I'm going to try to get more of a focus on, I think people are doing things on Monday. I'm not sure how I'll do it, but if I can look at the projects that I'm planning to work on, like I've mentioned, quite a few cross stitch pieces as well as the pin cushion, try to focus on the days that I know I'll be able to work on things starting next week. I think I might want to try wool Wednesdays. Sundays, kind of like hand stitching and things, so maybe the doll quilt, and just kind of put things on my schedule like I've mentioned in the past. That's the goal anyways, but as long as I'm doing something, just like the bag that I'm working on, create every day. So whether it's cross stitch or sewing or wool applique or crochet, and I have been knitting a little bit. So hopefully things, I'll start seeing things get finished. But of course Christmas is coming and I'm thinking of gifts for people. So it's like I'm going to have those squirrel tracks, like I've mentioned, that I get just kind of veer to the right, veer to the left. But I will have another video probably with all of my decorations for the fall. I think I only have, I put in this video, 2 maybe crafty cross stitch pieces that I can share in my decorations, hoping in the coming seasons that I'll be able to add to that with all of these starts. Even with the quilting and crochet, I try to set things out when I actually get them made, if I don't gift them, and that's a big problem with me. I tend to make something and give it away and don't keep it for myself. So I do want to get more stitchy things to set out around the different seasons. So hopefully even on my Christmas tree, I wouldn't mind having some Santas or just little ornaments that are made, because some of the little things are so easy to do. I'm not sure why I can't finish anything because I start too many things. But if I do start something, I will focus on it in that season, and hopefully the next season that comes with that, I'll have a finish. And I've looked back at some things, and I do have a Christmas finish that needs to be framed, so maybe I'll focus on that for this season and just do a finishing kind of a schedule in November for Christmas, maybe a month ahead of time is kind of what I've noticed people are doing. Again, I hope everyone's having a wonderful fall. Do remember the things. I know you've probably seen also the things happening in the world. We just need to be in prayer for so many things, and I appreciate you following me. If you like this video and want to see more, subscribe and you'll get notified when I have another video. But in the next week, I'll have a fall house tour of what I've done since my last decorating video. And hopefully in November, mid-November, since it's mid-October already, you'll see another Flosstube video from me of the things that I've worked on. So thank you for following, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.